Hi everyone, today our team is going to present a real world case study of Airbnb using the 5 stages of design thinking. Airbnb is an online platform that connects people who have rooms or homes to rent with travelers looking for accommodation. It was founded in 2008 by Brian Chesky and Joe Gerbia. In its early days, Airbnb faced a major challenge. Even though people were listing their properties on the platform, they were not getting enough bookings. Instead of immediately trying to change their business model, the founders decided to understand the problem from the user's point of view. This takes us to the first stage of design thinking, empathize. In the empathize stage, the goal is to understand the users, their needs, expectations, and difficulties. The Airbnb founders interacted directly with the hosts and looked carefully at their property listings. They noticed something interesting. Many properties had poor quality photographs. For a traveler, photographs are very important because they cannot physically visit the property before making a booking. Imagine that you are planning a trip and you see a room online with dark, unclear, and unattractive photographs. Even if the room is actually good, you may hesitate to book it because you don't have what you are doing at to get. So, Airbnb understood that there was a trust and confidence problem between the host and the traveler. This was the important insight because the founders were not simply looking at what the business wanted, they were trying to understand what the users actually need. Now that Airbnb had understood the users and their difficulties,
After understanding the users and their experiences, Airbnb moved to the second stage of design thinking, define. The purpose of define stage is to analyze the information collected during empathize stage and identify the actual user problem. At first, Airbnb could have simply said, "We need more bookings," but this describes the business problem, not the real reason behind it. From observing hosts and understanding the customer experiences, Airbnb identified a deeper issue. Travelers were unsure about booking properties because they could not clearly understand what the accommodation would actually look like. Many listings had dark, unclear, or low quality photographs which reduced customer confidence. So the problem was reframed as how might Airbnb help travelers feel more confident when choosing accommodation online. This is an important principle of design thinking. Instead of jumping directly into solution, we first need to make sure that we are solving the right problem. For example, rather than asking how can we increase bookings, Airbnb asked why are customers hesitant to book. This change in perspective helped reveal the underlying problem, a lack of trust and confidence caused by poor presentation of properties. Once the problem was clearly defined, Airbnb could explore different solutions. They could improve property description and provide communication between host and guest or improve the photographs. Among these possibilities, the team focused on improving the quality of property photographs because images play an important role in helping customers judge a property before booking. Now that the problem was clearly identified, Airbnb could move to next step, generating and testing possible solutions. Madhiswaran is will list explain the ideate and prototype stage.
Ideate and prototype. After defining the problem, Airbnb moved to the third stage of the ideate. Ideation means generating a different possible solution to the identification problem at this stage. The team think clearly instead of immediately the selection of the first solution come to the mind. For Airbnb, the main question was how we can make the travel more confident about the properties they will see online. They consider the different possibilities such as improving the prototype description, providing the better information, improving the communication, and most importantly, improving the quality prototype photography. They realized that the photography should have very strong influence of a customer decision. A customer must be interested in prototype, but this photography are dark, unclear or unattractive, they will simply move to the another listening. So Airbnb decided the experiment with the personally quality photography. This takes such as fourth stage of the prototype. The prototype is an really simple version of the solution that can be tested in the real world. Instead of developing a complex new features, the Airbnb founder took very practical approach. They went to New York, meet with the host and personally helped improving the photography of their properties. They replaced poor quality photography with a better and more attractive image. It was a simple but powerful experiment. Notice the important design thinking principle here. The team did not spend a huge amount of time guessing whatever the idea would should work. They create a simple version of solution and tied to real users. Now they had to find out improve the actual made difference. Did better photography really encourage the people to book? The question take to us final stage of design thinking test. Jay Surya will explain the testing result and what Airbnb learned from this entire process.
After creating the prototype, Airbnb moved to the fifth and final stage of design thinking test. In the test stage, the solution is given to the real users and we observe their reactions and behavior. The purpose is to find whether the solution actually solves the problem identified earlier. Airbnb tested the effect of improving the photographs of properly listings. The improved listings attracted more attention and helped increase bookings. This gave the founders evidence that the quality of presentation was an important factor in the customer's decision. What makes this example interesting is that Airbnb did not solve its problem by immediately creating a complicated technology. Instead, they first understood the users, identified the real difficulty, developed a simple idea, tested it, and learned from the results. This also shows us that design thinking is an iterative process. Even after testing a solution, the team can collect feedback, make improvements, create another prototype, and test again. So, if we look at Airbnb's journey as a whole, empathize, they understood the experience of hosts and travelers. Define, they identified the problem of customer confidence and trust. Ideate, they generated possible ways to improve the experience. Prototype, they experimented with better quality property photographs. Test, they observed whether the improved listings encourage more bookings. The biggest lesson from Airbnb's example is that successful innovation begins with understanding people. Design thinking teaches us not to assume what users want, but to observe them, understand their problems, test our ideas, and continuously improve. Therefore, Airbnb is a strong example of how the five stages of design thinking can transform a real world business problem into a successful user centered solution. Thank you.